So I arrived in Melbourne about 5 hours ago. For those of you who don't know, I am a producer. I've worked in film and television probably for the past 10 years. It has been my lifelong dream to make movies and television. I started a production company called Lusty Productions, and it is all about creating obsessions and connections through female-centric storytelling. The reason I'm in Melbourne is because I was fortunate enough to be one of the recipients of a development initiative called First Market, and that is run by a Kiwi producer called Vicky Pope. I was very fortunate in my mentor, Desiree Armstrong. She carries the true spirit of an independent film producer so gracefully, with so much heart and passion and so much care and guidance towards the people she works with, and it's just radiates off her. I really look up to her. For those of you who don't know what a market is, it is essentially like a trade show for the film industry. It is where producers, distributors, financiers, sales agents, all kinds of people involved with the making and the financing and support of film and television projects. It's where they come together, they take meetings, they do business. It's where a producer like myself will go and hopefully attach a market partner. Okay, so let's talk schedule for the next 5 days. Today is the Producer Accelerator course. It goes from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. And the first session is about navigating the market. The second is about meeting all the key players, the decision makers, distributors, and people like that. And the final session is pitching essentials. So that will be very useful. Really packed 5 days, pretty much got lunches and dinners and drinks every single day. So a lot of alcohol involved with markets, but slay. I took a lot of notes, but this will be an awfully long video if I go through every single one of them. So I'm going to try to summarize for you what I learned during these 3 sessions. The final session, pitching essentials, and I really enjoyed this one. The moderator for this panel mentioned that on average in Australia, it takes 9 years for a feature film to get made. So from, inception to release, I guess. And I know this is also true for New Zealand, that it can take several years for a film to get made. So it is a really long journey. So that was just a sobering reminder for all of us. Day one for Abba Rose. And you want to say hi at all? Yay, I got her to say hi. She's so camera shy. Look how good her hair looks.
This is sort of how I'm feeling. Day one, lunchtime.
What is that?
Not sure.
A lamb to the slaughter?
Yeah, that's sort of the vibe, but in a good way.
That's kind of how I'm feeling.
I've been meeting some financing partners, some Australian producers who are very cool. Just having a good chat with some Melbourne-based producers, which is fun. Really just having a goss with them.
I actually could use a cocktail right now because I really bombed my last pitch.
Like 4 hours away from the cocktail?
4 hours away from a cocktail, and then that's me. That's me because my last pitch was not giving. However, I've had many compliments on my outfit.
And that's actually what it's all about.
I was gonna fuck myself. So Amanda and I are coming towards the end of the day, and last night we were all like, yeah, let's go to the after party and have a rager and like network and
having second thoughts.
I want to be in my hotel bed.
Same. Like, I was down to drink, and now I'm like, I think, not to be dramatic, I think that might kill me. I need to be in bed by 11:30. I have to.
I was meant to do a wrap up of day one yesterday, but there was literally no time, which is how markets tend to be from my understanding. After the market stuff is all done, there's drinks and movies and all that stuff. So last night, after the market finished, we had to go straight to the welcome drinks, and then I boosted it to Melbourne Central to go to the screening of Wicker. It's kind of like that horny wicker basket film that blew up on TikTok, and everyone's been like thirsting over it, and it was great. I thought it was really funny and just so right up my alley in terms of humor. But day one was really good. I didn't have too many meetings. I thought I was going to really just ease into it, but no. I think like every second of my day was accounted for from the minute I arrived to the market. Like once I picked up my pass and sat down, I was just constantly chatting with people. I think when I initially got my schedule, I didn't get all the meetings I wanted. I got some great ones, don't get me wrong. There was some sales agents I really wanted to meet, and they didn't select to meet me, which is, you know, it is what it is. I met with a finance company and they were so nice. My mentor Desiree had a really fun idea that because the film that I am pitching is kind of connected to a fruit and veggie shop, she suggested that I bring mandarins to give them to people. Admittedly, I was like, is that like cheesy? I don't know. But I'm so glad I listened to her. I always listen to Desiree, because I gave it to the guys at this finance firm, and they loved it because they had back-to-back meetings all day. They didn't have a second to get up to go eat or get a snack. And I was like, I have mandarins. And they're like, oh my God, yes, please, vitamin C. Like, we would love mandarins. The main learning from day one was don't despair if you don't have all the meetings you want, because your time is going to get filled up very quickly. Just you're standing around by the coffee cart or sitting on the couch and someone comes and sits next to you, and then you start talking about their projects. You get their card and you know, set a Zoom for later. And so I thought that was really great. Also ran into some Kiwi producers that I know, and they very kindly introduced me to one of the sales agents in Australia, and I'm going to connect with her over the next few days. So that was great. Like, I didn't get a meeting with them, but there was still an opportunity to set one. Today, Friday, day two. I won't be too specific about this, but in general, I've been talking to some of the Asian Australian producers about the devaluation of Asian cast. So when you're packaging a film and you're attaching cast, which is, you know, standard, because that can unlock financing for you. A Caucasian name, a famous Caucasian actor, is like, yes, absolutely like valued in the highest possible way. An Asian actor, even if they are accomplished and known, are not really getting the market wanting more, and I just think that is very interesting. And it's sad, considering everything that's happening in New Zealand right now with our government and Winston Peters. I'd love to say that the industry really values Asian voices and stories, and in some ways it has. Parasite won the Oscar how many years ago? Crazy Rich Asians was a cultural phenomenon. Film and television, of course, is a reflection of our society, and society is also a reflection of the media and vice versa. And I really believe in the power that media has to influence us as a society and culturally about how we see other cultures and ways of lives and viewpoints and people. And it humanizes us. It humanizes us in places and in minds that haven't humanized us. I think that we, unfortunately, have taken a big step back. Asian people are devalued in Western society. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking here, it's just all been interesting. So I had a really good chat for my last meeting today with Screen Australia about direct audience funding. Direct audience content would be things like for YouTube, social media platforms, or websites where people have like paid subscriptions on their websites for people to like pay and watch their content on there. there's a lot of opportunity there. Also with Substack, all these direct to consumer, direct to audience forms of media are really worth exploring if you are a filmmaker. Like, do not sleep on these social platforms. I know not everyone loves social media, but you need to think about it this way. This is, quite possibly where a large portion of your audience are spending the most of their time and where they're consuming their content. And if you have something that is fit for those platforms, I'd highly recommend, exploring that fully, because there are some very real case studies of people becoming massively successful from YouTube. And yes, it's a grind and it takes a long time, but it is possible and people are doing it. So yeah, I have happy hour drinks soon. I think I might skip it because I don't want to talk to people.
You get so tired by day 3 and it's 4 days. How do you keep up your stamina? Like, what are the tricks to stay on the ball when you're so tired?
Oh my god, I wish I had better ones because I'm just having a lot of coffee, which is really hard.
Okay, so coffee is honestly probably the answer, to survival at the market, is a lot of coffee.
I went to a movie last night, which seems kind of antithetical to this because I could have gone to bed early, but it was nice to just
Well, I went out drinking, so you made a smarter choice than me.
Yeah, it was nice.
So I just got home from day 3 of the market. You might be able to hear my voice is getting a little bit croaky. I emailed some sales agents that I didn't get meetings with and I was hoping to hear back from them, but I haven't. I was trying to catch one sales agent hoping she'd have a gap, but every time I would kind of go around her table, she was just constantly booked out and I didn't want to interrupt. Today, I had one of the meetings I've been really looking forward to, which is with a distributor that I'm really wanting to work with, and it went really well. I think they're interested in reading the script and looking at the pitch deck and materials and the cast list that we're considering. We did have a very frank conversation about MGs, which is minimum guarantees for anyone who doesn't know, and those are getting smaller and smaller. The film industry is suffering in many ways. So I had one meeting with a sales agent today who was absolutely lovely. They're a very small, very new shop, are really interested in diverse stories, which is great. We're very aligned in our tastes, I believe. They were very frank as well that they might not be in a place to actually pay an MG at this point, and so that might not be the right fit for this project, but you never know in the future what they could be right for and what I could bring them and that they might be interested in. Selling films has gotten even harder. That, since COVID and since the rise of streaming like Netflix and all of that, and don't get me wrong, I love my streamers. I subscribe to all of them. It costs me a lot of money. But yeah, cinema is suffering because people are obviously wanting to go to the big tentpole films, and a film, so anyone who's trying to, sell a really powerful drama, that's not always going to move the needle. And so it's kind of hard to get distribution for them and sell them in different territories. It's really, really hard to get pre-sales, which I wasn't counting on anyway in my finance plan for this film. But I think it just goes to show just how much has changed and how much harder it is to get a film seen by audiences and out there into the world, especially when you've got the streamers as well also making original movies and they go right to streaming. And now I think it's kind of trained our brains to have that sort of that attitude of I won't see it in theaters, I'll catch it when it's on a streamer. Maybe more accessible, easier, but it's a shame because I just believe, movies are meant to be seen in the cinema. I mean, not all, obviously. Perfectly happy to watch a film on a streamer if that's how I need to see it. I want films to be seen full stop, and however people get to see them, I'm like, great. But yeah, it was just, it's all been a lot of sobering conversations, but he did like my pitch. Did like my, what I was putting down. Morning, I'm officially getting sick. I think I'm losing my voice. It's the final day of the market. I have some really great meetings today, so yeah, let's see what happens, and hopefully I get my voice back before I have to talk to people.
How's the final day going? Good.
I'm done the meetings. I'm done. I have one more panel. And that's it.
Yeah,
I've only got one more meeting and then free.
when are you guys planning to do your follow-up emails after the market?
Good question.
Project your voice, by the way.
Between two to
Yeah.
3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
What's the one tip you'd give someone doing their first market?
Research all
Yeah.
the companies and the people that you're meeting with. Ideally, you don't always get the name, but yeah, I think really research them, what else they're acquiring or making, what they're interested in. Yeah, just so you have that understanding when you go and talk to them, and different people want different things. And so, yeah, just being prepared, I think. Yeah.
So it's been a really long day, but a really good one. Ended up being really busy and managed to get a few more meetings that I had really hoped to get originally. But I think the wonderful thing about this market and all the people here is that they're so receptive to meeting and having a chat if they've got space in their schedule. I got to the market super early. I didn't actually have a meeting until 10:50, but there was a particular person that I really wanted to meet. He was there early, I was there early, and I kind of went over and introduced myself, and he was really kind enough to give me like a 10-minute slot in his schedule. And I feel like when we met, we really hit it off, had a real connection as to the kind of stories we like watching, and he talked about some really interesting initiatives that he's working on, and yeah, it was a really great meeting. I also met with another ANZ distributor, and that was they were such a great team. I think really receptive to what I was pitching, interested in hearing more about the project, so I'll definitely be hitting them up after the market to have a discussion. So my last meeting was at 5:30, and by then my throat was and when I sat down and introduced myself to the person I was meeting with, who was a sales agent, this man has been pitched to for 4 days straight. He looks a little over it, and honestly, fair enough. So when you get to the last few pitches on the last day of the market, it's pretty brutal. I sat down and I was like, hey, how about I just don't pitch to you? How about we don't do a hard pitch session or anything, let's just get to know each other. And he was like, oh yes, please, thank you so much. It was the perfect way to finish the market. One of the distributors I pitched to, they were asking me about sales agents I met with, and I said, oh, well, I didn't actually get many meetings with sales agents. I said, I really want to meet this particular company. And she was like, oh, well, I can introduce you. And I was like, oh my God, that would be great. So we went downstairs together after our meeting, and she pointed the person I wanted to meet out to me. I went and introduced myself, and she was kind enough to, let me sit down with her. She asked about what I was here to pitch, and I talked about my project. I got her email. We also talked about festivals and the Kiwi films that she's worked across, and that was awesome. Today was one of those days where I managed to get 3 extra meetings that I didn't originally have on my schedule with some really key people that I really wanted to meet, who are doing excellent work out there in the industry. So grateful to make those connections. The incredible thing about being part of the First Market program was that every single day, every morning, through lunch to the afternoon and to the evening, everyone from my initiative would always be checking in on each other and giving each other tips about, if one person has met with this particular person, would be, so what are they like? What are they looking for? So we're really looking out for each other in this really beautiful, supportive way. I feel like I've learned so much from this experience, and I'm so excited to tackle more markets, and I'm happy. I'm very proud of the prep I did, thanks to Desiree. I feel like after this market, I have this confidence and, just this boost in energy and faith that if I keep working hard enough, and if my team and I keep building these connections and find the right partners for our project, that we are going to get to make this film. Whenever it happens, I'm going to be really grateful, and ultimately really grateful to this market.